I'm Beatrice Erkers. I work for the Foresight Institute and I run our Existential Hope program. I'm very happy to talk more about that later if you can find me, but now, because I only have 5 minutes, I'll try to talk about this topic. Tool AI, DIAC, and design futures. So basically, I'm here to talk about a project that I've been working on for the last few months, where we've basically, I guess, doing world building a bit similar to Anna, where we built out 2 potential future scenarios with advanced AI. So one is this tool AI future, and one is the DIAC future that I'll talk a bit about later. And I think that, if I had built these scenarios specifically for this workshop, I would have leaned more into like a more ambitious AGI future. I think these are a bit more we're thinking about, like in 10 years, if AI has significantly transformed our world, what does that look like? And the main point of it is basically just to explore what are desirable AI futures, and then also, if we think that these are desirable AI futures, what would it take to steer towards them? And so the tool AI future, I think the name is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically AI as a tool. Humans are still in control very much. And it's like AI as infrastructure, so it's helping us advance science, medicine, improve governance, better healthcare, all of those things. And I think like my main takeaways so far from this workshop, or sorry, from this report, I should say, we're also publishing these reports in August, and they're based on interviews with a bunch of technologists and experts, and there will also be like a meticulous integration on forecasting on the key enablers of the scenarios, but the main point of them is more to like think about, they're not predictions per se, I should say. So the sort of key takeaways so far from the tool AI one for me has been that people are really excited about this AI future. Everyone, I think, except for like one person when I interviewed, and that may be like selection bias, but they were like, oh, this would be the future that we would want to steer towards actually right now, if we thought that it was like plausible. But that was the key thing, that no one thought it was very plausible because of current incentive structures. So I guess like the competition element that we've talked about. And I think that the sort of key, then we were thinking about, okay, well, what would it take to make that a plausible future? And I think the key sort of most plausible thing that we thought would be the driver of that would be just like financial and legal risk, basically. So, if we had, if insurance companies refuse to cover opaque systems, or like courts set up very clear liability standards for AI agents, then that could drive the shift towards like a less agentic focused AI norm. And also I think that people don't, I think, see this as like, this would be the AGI Equilibria. It's more like maybe a way to buy time so that we can have a more intentional transition into an AGI future. The second scenario that we were working on is this DIAC future. So DIAC is this concept by Vitalik Buterin. He wrote a post on like his type of techno-optimism. I recommend reading it. I don't have time to go into detail here, but basically it's like these 4 Ds are like the key values of technological development. So it's like decentralized, democratic, defensive, and differential acceleration of technology. And I think that the 3 things that sort of stood out here is it was really hard to pin down. Like this was a really hard one to actually get like a concrete vision of. And I think it's by its own nature that it's meant to be very plural, basically. So there's just a lot of different like facets of this future. There's also drift in how people use this term. I think a lot of people have like latched onto the DEF Act, like the defensive acceleration part, but for the sort of for Vitalik and like when we hosted a DIAC workshop with them earlier this year, the decentralization part is still like a really core part for those people. And so there's like some tension there. No one really thought that this was a utopia. It was more like a survival, designed for resilience. It's not necessarily like building for upside, but minimizing or like avoiding extreme downside. Also, in terms of like the technologies that came up, it was like the usual suspects of like coordination technologies, actually. So like zero knowledge proofs, dominant assurance contracts, and attribution-based control. So I think to wrap up, like I said, these aren't predictions. They're sort of exploring what futures may be worth working towards. I hope we will have time to talk more about this today, and I hope that we could do something even more ambitious on based on what we're discussing today, like what would a really ambitious AGI scenario look like, for example. But that's it. Thank you.